Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And of course, joined by my co-host, Mr. CJ Hopkins. I'm Mr. David Oddpoint Hubbin. Welcome into the show. Today's episode crossover. We are going to break down winners and losers of the 2023 NBA trade deadline. A deadline that saw 19 moves in total. The first trade was the Kyrie Irving trade, and it ended with that basically trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't remember where he even got traded to. But he's no longer a member of the Thunder. Exciting day. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. We go live based Monday. We're going to be breaking down. We'll share the StreamYard link. So if you want to join us to talk a little bit of basketball action, a little bit of NBA trade deadline, more than welcome to join the show. But please have your ducks in a row and have some knowledge about the NBA. I've also shared the link to all of our streaming platforms. So if you do happen to miss us live, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and of course, iHeartRadio. So that link has been provided in the main Prime Sports World Facebook page. So thank you very much for joining us. Without further ado, welcome to the show, TJ. Happy Saturday, man. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. I went and played. So I play basketball every Saturday morning. How many calories do you think I burned off this morning?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
No, I know. I know. I just want you to guess because, that's what life's fun when you guess stuff.
2,000.
Oh, you're giving me too much credit. 1,400. Basically 1,500. Man, I burned off 2,000 calories, dude. It's like, that's insane for like 3 hours, dude.
Yeah. Not really.
No, dude, that's a ton, dude. Like that'd have to be my heart rate would have to be like in the 150s for like 3 straight hours. I'm not sure that's healthy for anyone.
Well, we'll consider that when I guarantee like the average athlete, like the average professional athlete, they burn like 2,000 calories.
Yeah, a day.
Because they're constantly moving.
They don't do it in one session. How much do you think How much do you think an NBA player burns off during a game?
I don't know, but they're constantly moving they're always moving. So
yeah, but they're only on the court for like 8 minute spurts, and then they usually get checked out.
Like ask Steph Curry how many calories he burns a day.
I would love to ask him that question. Like, I would love to ask him that question. But that's not the point of today's show. We're here to talk about the NBA trade deadline, some notable winners, some notable losers. Let's get right into the show. NBA, yeah. So some of the major moves there on the screen. If you want to see all the moves that went down between over basically the course of the week, you can watch that show that we ran on Friday or on Thursday, actually, right before our NFC West preview show. What the hell are you doing, Pace? Let's talk about winners. There's always going to be winners, and there's always going to be losers. Let's talk about winners when it comes to the NBA trade deadline. Who do you think won when it comes to the NBA trade deadline?
The Clippers won. Obviously, Phoenix won because it's Kevin Durant. Like, you're going to win when you get Kevin Durant.
I 100% agree with you on the Clippers. I think them basically getting the Bones Highland thing is wild to me. Like I cannot believe the Nuggets traded him away for what they gave up, what they got back.
That was. We'll get to this if the Bulls are brought up, but like that's the trading Bones Highland away for like what was it, 2 seconds?
2 second-round picks. Bones Highland.
That's what we like. That's what I like to call making a move for the sake of making a move. Like that. Like you don't get better with that move. Like what was the point of that move? Like seriously,
for who?
For Denver. Like what was the point?
Yeah, I don't get that. Like 2 seconds. I know he was a second-round pick, I believe, when they drafted him. So you're basically doubling up his value. But Bones Highland has been good for them. I know. I guess he's been difficult to play with and difficult to coach. As the rumors coming out of Denver, and I think there was like they just needed to get away from him. And I guess they needed him to have a fresh seat. That's all the rumors that I've heard. But yeah, I don't really understand. And the Clippers, they get a haul. They get Eric Gordon as well. I love what the Clippers did in this NBA trade. I think they really did a good job of diversifying this roster, and they continue to be one of the deepest teams in the NBA.
Like they're linked to Russell Westbrook. We'll get to that. So the Clippers, Phoenix. I had one more. I can't. It's escaping me right now.
I also have Phoenix Suns as a big winner as well. I mean, you get Kevin Durant, nothing more really needs to be said. But the fact that you didn't have to give up DeAndre Ayton to get this trade done, I think you basically get Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson. Basically, is Kevin Durant in one player. Like those two guys combined equals Kevin Durant. Um,
Yeah,
I,
like no, like according to Matt James, the world is ending because
well,
you know
everything is ending when it comes. He's just so dramatic all the time. So it's
it's
just
like no.
you're getting Kevin freaking Durant. The dude's an MVP. He's 2 times Finals MVP. Like
I'm like,
Mikal Bridges is a nice player, but he's
but
really
he's been hot lately. He's averaged 17 a game over the last like bro. But
Kevin Durant can get you 30 every night.
every night, man. Like,
Yeah,
come on, man, knock it out.
yeah, yeah.
Like, knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it
I,
off.
so this may actually come as a surprise. One of my big winners actually is the Brooklyn Nets, and I know that sounds weird because they traded away Kyrie Irving and they traded away Kevin Durant, but I mean if they got revived some of their own draft capital that they lost in the James Harden trade.
They
have
basically
a
got
ton.
all. They basically got all of that back. Like
They
whatever they
basically
gave up to get James Harden.
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. They literally got it like majority of that back.
And not to
Like
mention, they got a bunch of like tangible assets. Like they basically put them like where they were right before they signed Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That's where they are now, even with a treasure chest of draft assets. I mean, they got stuff when they traded away James Harden to Philadelphia. They have all of those draft assets. They have Phoenix's draft assets. All of those picks are unprotected. I like Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and Spencer Dinwiddie, and like you get to see some of those younger players now. Like Cam Thomas has been straight fire in it since they made that trade. 3 games in a row with over 40 points. He wasn't as good against the Bulls, but Spencer Dinwiddie was good, and they beat the Bulls with like
and they
half
hit
of half the
7.
team.
Well, I would love to see a team win a game hitting 4 threes, while the other
Right.
team makes 17. I would
It's true.
love to see that.
It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, I mean the Nets. I know that sounds weird to call them a winner because they did give up the 2 best players on their team. But like, if you're gonna have to make this decision, because I don't think Kevin Durant's value gets better as the time goes on. I mean, his value becomes worse. And Phoenix is in win now mode. They wanted to keep the championship window open. If you want Kevin Durant, this is the price. And then the Suns are like, we need to get this championship window open. You have a brand new owner there who seems to be very motivated to win now. I just think the Nets did a good job. I mean, if you're going to blow this up, that's kind of how you have to do it. I still don't think it makes them not a contender in the East. I think they still could sneak into the playoffs. They're going to have a scrappy bunch that plays tough defense.
Well, yeah, like we saw it the other night. Like, well, it helps that the Bulls couldn't hit a 3 to save their life, but we saw a defensive lineup of what was it? Cam Thomas, Dinwiddie, DFS, Day'Ron Sharp, and was it Ben? I think Ben Simmons, right? Like they locked, like they was locking shit down. Like it definitely helped them that the Bulls couldn't hit a 3. And it's not like the Bulls weren't like they didn't do anything special. The Nets did defensively.
Yeah, I mean the Bulls were just missing open shots. I mean
They were missing open shots.
I mean,
Like it happens.
those are scenarios that we go back on it. They probably make a lot of that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I like what the Nets did. I like the assets they got. I like the players that they got as well. I think it puts them in a good spot moving forward. I got 2 more winners. My other big winner is the Los Angeles Lakers. I love what they did at the trade deadline. I think you take Russell Westbrook and I love the fact that they didn't pull the trigger on that Kyrie Irving trade. I think what they got instead was even better. Even though D'Angelo Russell, playoff D'Angelo Russell wasn't particularly good last season. He wasn't particularly good as a Brooklyn Net, but that was his first playoff experience. But the Lakers adding D'Angelo Russell, adding the Jared Vanderbilt, adding Malik Beasley. I even love the Mo Bamba trade that they made later as opposed to the trade deadline. I just think that gives them so much depth, so much versatility, and it just gives them players that they can use. And not to mention they didn't have to give up that second first-round pick in 2029, and there's some protections on the other pick, so it kind of protects them if things go south. I love what the Lakers did. I don't know if it necessarily makes them a championship contender, but I think they could potentially be in the play, and I think they're in a better place today than they were before the trade. And I know you, as a Russell Westbrook advocate, I think this is good value for Russell Westbrook. Nothing against him. I think the ridiculous narratives that have been coming out about Westbrook is ridiculous.
That's a conversation for another. Like that's a
100%,
conversation of
like,
itself. That is
the
trash. That is trash.
And the Lakers, I think they're in a better place to contend today than they were yesterday before they made the deals. I just do.
That is trash. Like me, I'm in the same boat with Shannon Sharp. Like I think. Because Shannon Sharp was like, he's looking at the moves that they made. Like, yeah, he liked them, but he also doesn't think like they don't make the Lakers that much better. Like they don't put them that much over the top. Like I understand. Like the one move I do like is them getting Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba was in a lose-lose situation in Orlando. He wasn't playing. And if he was playing, he was barely playing. He
basically got his minutes taken by Bol,
like Bol,
and Wendell Carter Jr. and then Paulo Banchero. There were just not spots in the rotation for him.
Yeah, so like, and the Magic are gonna come across this issue as time progresses. Like you're gonna have
Jonathan Isaac's back now, so.
right. So like you're gonna have to move some people because you got too many players. Like you got too many. It is what it, like Terrence Ross literally just got bought out today.
I mean, that's been brewing for. I'm surprised they didn't try to move him at the deadline.
Move him. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. They didn't get an offer that they liked.
I mean, if you're the Magic, whatever, somebody gives you literally anything, I would have taken it. I'm not even kidding. Like that's not a guy who's in your future plans. Like if you can get a second round pick for him. By the way, yeah, the second round picks went flying during this NBA trade deadline.
Yeah, I ain't never seen so many second round pick packages like sent out at once. Like I swear to God, I ain't never seen that.
I also think at some point in the owners, like some point during this conversation, I think the Stepien rule needs to be removed. But
the what rule?
The Stepien rule.
What's that? What is that?
That's the rule that's in place that it doesn't allow teams to trade back-to-back first-round picks. So like it's
so like you can't trade the 2024 first and the 2025. You got to skip a year basically.
Correct.
Yeah, that's stupid. I've never understood that. Like,
yeah, it was originally designed to protect teams, but I think that the era, like NBA GMs, have gotten so much better at making trades that I don't necessarily think.
Yeah, they get around it. They get around it like with picks.
There is a way to get around it, but you could the way it works now is if you want to trade a pick in a draft that you already traded the pick next year, you just make the pick and trade the player.
Excuse me.
I just think that Stepien rule needs to go. But yeah, as you were going with the Lakers,
yeah, like Mo Bamba could probably come in and shit. I would start Mo Bamba. Like AD already don't like playing the 5, so I would roll out a starting 5 of give me D'Lo at the 1, give me D'Lo at the or Schroeder. I don't care. Like I don't think that's really a deal breaker if Schroeder starts.
I think you started Malik Beasley actually at the 2.
I was going there. You start Malik Beasley at the
2. He's a positive 30% 3-point shooter for his career, and he can defend a little bit. I start him at the 2.
So you move Brian back to his natural spot at the 3. You move AD to the 4, and you start Mo Bamba, and then the issue
or even Jared Vanderbilt. They have so many options. They have options now that they didn't necessarily have before, and I think that's really what makes the difference for the NBA trade deadline.
I think the issue that they're going to run into is, all right, you're 25-31, you're 6 games under 500. There's 26 games left. Every game from this point on is win now. Like you're in scramble mode because these other teams aren't gonna. Hey, let's hold on. Let's give the Lakers time to gel and get their stuff together. Like no, like those other teams are gonna everybody.
So this is this has got to be the mindset for the Los Angeles Lakers. They're 2.5 back of Utah right now, who just traded away 3 of their major pieces, Mike Conley, and then you Golden State. We don't really know, especially we'll talk about them in a minute, but Golden State. I mean, with the Steph Curry injury, him missing a couple of weeks, potentially a month. I mean, they can't. I'm not sure what they're going to do offensively without him. I think with 2.5 games back, but yes, every game for the rest of the season for the Lakers has to be a must win. That's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that LeBron didn't play Friday or Thursday night against the
After
Bucks.
breaking the record, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, if you're at this point of the like, you need to play like every night. Like taking nights off is no longer an option. Like for a team that needs to win every single game in order to stay relevant, I just don't get that. But my other winner, if you don't have any others,
No, go ahead.
is the Milwaukee Bucks. I love getting Jay Crowder, not having to give up any major pieces to your core. I think he's the perfect guy to come in, 3-and-D wing. He's just a good basketball player that makes a lot of sense on this roster. I know they had to give up George Hill. It's kind of a fan favorite there. They had to give up Serge Ibaka. Jordan Nwora still had some upside, but the
All
Bucks
buyouts, all buyouts. Like they bought George Hill out, they bought Serge Ibaka out.
I'm surprised they bought out Jordan Nwora. He's got some upside. I would have held on to him, but
Right,
I just like getting Jay Crowder from the Milwaukee Bucks. I just do.
Like what we have to understand, like what people have to understand is like when championship teams, championship contenders like the Suns, the Warriors, the Bucks, right? When they get young talent, the time, like the time frame for them is automatically sped up because these teams are in win now mode. They don't have time to hold hands and coddle, right? Like there's no time for that. Like, hey, like you know the situation you're coming into. When you play, you gotta produce. Like, and like you have to be effective. Like, there's a reason why a Marshawn Beauchamp for the Bucks barely plays, but when he does play, it's something positive. Because Budenholzer ain't just finna put him out there just because, hey man, I got this young dude. We took him in the first round. I gotta play him because I took him in the first round. No, like them days is over with. Playing like that shit is over with. The Warriors literally traded their second overall pick because he couldn't get on the court.
100%. And I like what Milwaukee did. I think they did a good job of getting a guy who's going to help them. We'll see what kind of basketball shape Jay Crowder's in after sitting out for the entire season. But I like what they did at this NBA trade deadline. That's all the winners I have. I had the same two teams as you. I had the Clippers, Nets, Suns, Lakers, Bucks as my winners.
Yeah.
Did you have anybody else?
Nope. Go ahead.
For every winner, it has to be an opposite side of the coin. There has to be a loser when it comes to the NBA trade deadline. And I know you're going to hate this, TJ. The Chicago Bulls have to be a loser in my book. And I understand your argument is going to be people have to want what we have. But I just think the inactivity, you have to find a way to make something, shake this roster up. And I understand that teams have to want what we have, and they have to find good packages. It's not just make a trade just for the sake of making a trade.
That's pretty much what people wanted. That's literally what people wanted.
I wanted to see the Bulls move Vucevic because he was clear you couldn't come to an agreement on a contract extension. You have the risk of him walking in free agency now, even though we do have the opportunity to sign and trade him in the offseason. And there is still the potential that Westbrook could be coming to Chicago, which would upgrade our point guard position. The Bulls seemed like a team that needed to do something. They just continually kind of just
see, that's my issue. So folks are on Twitter and on social media like just ripping AK and Mark Eversley to shreds. Like, you guys didn't do anything. I'm like, damn, I didn't know y'all was in the war room. Like, I didn't know that at all. Like, I didn't know that y'all had information to what they were trying to do. No, to say that they just didn't do anything. Like, we saw the stuff flying, right? Like, we saw Zach LaVine and like Bulls Knicks are talking about trading Zach LaVine. If I'm AK, right? So the Knicks call the Bulls about Zach LaVine. What? Okay, this is my asking price. Okay, we see that, but this is what we're offering. Well, you want my player, so this is my asking price. You either give me what I'm asking for or something close to it, or we have no deal. And guess what happened? No deal.
Yeah, I completely get that. I mean, I understand that, like, both teams have to mutually agree to a trade. I just think the Bulls needed to do something to because this roster just is stagnant a little bit, and the Lonzo Ball thing's a little and still completely uncertain. I think the Bulls should have done
So, like,
something.
so,
They should have
what,
found a way
like realistically do what? Like everybody says, like they should have did something. Realistically, what though?
I
Get who?
Moving Vucevic when it was clear there was not going to be a new contract coming. I think moving him before the trade deadline would have been the move I would have made, even if that means collecting future draft assets.
So our saving grace is like I really don't think Vucevic wants to leave. He really doesn't.
I mean, maybe, but I just don't know because he's become the scapegoat. He's become the Russell Westbrook in Chicago.
No, that's not true at all. Zach LaVine's become the scapegoat.
No. Yeah,
oh, absolutely. Yes.
Vucevic,
do you not pay attention? You really don't pay attention. You really don't pay attention.
Vucevic gets a lot of flack too.
You really don't pay. It is 100% Zach LaVine. He is the scapegoat because he got the max deal. Okay. Because like, it is 100% Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine. Every time something goes wrong,
the friends of my circle are always super hating on Nikola Vucevic, and I just think that he's been in an unfair position. Like I can't imagine he's going to resign with the Bulls.
I can't imagine. Like no, like if I'm Zach LaVine. Bro, I dropped 38 points against the Nets, and y'all want to point the finger at me?
Yeah, I mean, Nikola Vucevic was good in that game too. I mean, he had 17 rebounds in that game. People want to point the finger at him too.
Yeah, but DeMar skates off easy because he only scored 14 points. Like no, but I understand why people would say the Bulls are a loser. But again, like I'm not with the move. Like how many years, as me and you as Bulls fans, how many years did we sit through the Garpax regime of them making lateral moves at the deadline, moves just to make moves, just to say they did something? How many years did we sit through that?
A lot of moves. But I also think that this Bulls team needed to do something on the edges. I mean, Kobe White is somebody who's on an expiring deal, probably not going to be back next offseason. I mean, next season, you move him to try to get future assets. I mean, there's some players on their roster that you could have especially if you're not going to keep them long term. I would have tried to make some. Their Bulls are just inactivity. Same thing with the Cavs. I think that even though that Donovan Mitchell was their big move in the offseason, but I would have liked to have seen the Cavaliers try to get another wing just to kind of stabilize that roster a little bit, even though they looked great last night.
No, I think the biggest loser, it has to be 100% be the Toronto Raptors. 100%.
Like they're with the next team. I don't understand what they were doing.
Like when you
don't trade away any of your big three, and one of those guys is an expiring deal, a free agent this offseason, and then you give up a first-round pick for Jakob Poeltl. I don't get it.
And you will reportedly offer 3 first-round picks from Memphis and who else? I sent the picture out from Memphis and the Pacers. So Memphis and Indianapolis both offered you 3 first-round picks each for OG Anunoby, and you said no. That is insane. Like you give me 3 first-round picks for him? Yeah, I'll take that.
OG Anunoby's not worth 3 first-round picks. No offense to him, he has gotten better every single season. He's just not worth that.
This is his this is his best season as a pro. He's having a career year across the board. 17 points, 5 rebounds. I think he's just under 3 assists a game.
I mean, he's still relatively young. I think he's under 25 or 23 even. He's still a relatively young player. He was basically a non-factor on that team that won the title. And he's become a really good basketball player. And maybe the Raptors just think they're going to re-sign him. Like he's going to be part of their core moving forward. The Fred VanVleet thing, especially since he's an expiring contract, I think Gary Trent Jr. is too, because eventually you're not going to be able to keep all of these guys.
No, that's what happens.
So the Raptors have me another one of my losers. And then I have one player loser, not a team. I just want to get this out of the way. It's John Wall. John Wall has got to be one of the bigger losers in this NBA trade deadline. He he finally gets the buyout from the Houston Rockets, right? And he's like all excited to sign with the Clippers. There's that picture of him getting all smiles when he signs that Clipper contract, the 2-year, what was it,
Yep.
$13 million contract that he signed. And then the Clippers trade him back to Houston. I know he's going to get waived. I read that on the internet this morning. But you trade him back to Houston after he talked all that smack about the locker room and all that other stuff. You trade him right back there, and the Houston Rockets are like, "Yeah, let's get him back."
Here's the thing. Like you see other Rockets players ain't come out and like say anything about it, right? Like they like this is real. This is an easy debunk. If a Jalen Green or a Kevin Porter Jr. or a Christian Wood, who was in the locker room at the time, come out and say, "Yeah, that's cap. None of that's true." Ain't nobody say nothing. Did nobody come out and refute a single talking point that he said about the Houston Rockets? Nobody.
He wasn't even on that. It probably wasn't worth making comments about it.
Hell no. I'm not finna let you do that. No, because at some point you're talking about me.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about me.
But yeah, with John Wall going back to Houston, that's got to be a big L for.
That's funny.
We'll see what ends up happening to him as the future. But yeah, he's become a shell of his former self. It's really sad to see a guy who was at one time the top 5 point guard in the NBA will be on 3 teams in 3 seasons, 2 seasons really. Tough to see.
Mm-hmm.
So, who else you got as a loser?
Let's I guess the Knicks. I would have to throw the Knicks in there. Like they just, yeah.
I mean, getting Josh Hart feels like a lateral move for Cam Reddish, a guy who's not in your rotation anyways. But Josh Hart, partially guaranteed contract for next season, so I guess he's a 1-year rental. I don't really understand what the Knicks are doing.
I don't understand what Detroit's doing. Like I understand trading for James Wiseman, but you have him now. You have him now. You got Jalen Duren, who you just drafted. Isaiah Stewart. Like you have Marvin Bagley. Like you just have way too many bigs.
Marvin Bagley doesn't even play.
Like you got too many bigs. Like what are you like? What's the plan?
Well, I think if you're Detroit, I think you take a shot that this kid was the 2nd overall pick in a draft a few years ago. Maybe you can salvage his career if he couldn't even get on the floor. I actually think the other team involved in that trade is actually one of my losers, Golden State. You Steph Curry is going to miss several weeks due to that lower leg injury. And you could have used Sadiq Bey. I don't understand. I understand that this was a move to get back underneath the luxury tax to save some money there, the hard cap. But just to trade away James Wiseman, a guy who was the 2nd overall pick, that, let's be real, like I don't really feel like he got a fair shake in Golden State because they were in a championship window that was closing for the key players on that team. He never really got a fair opportunity to really see if he could even fit and mesh with those players. I mean, they constantly sent him back down to the G League. I mean, I just don't think he ever got a fair opportunity, and they used the 2nd overall pick on him. That really didn't work out. I mean, they could have kept Sadiq Bey. Getting Kevin Knox is basically a throwaway. I imagine he won't even play for them. Getting 5 second-round picks does nothing for you. Golden State's got to be a big loser. I don't really – I know it cleared up a roster spot when I thought they were going to do something bigger than this, and they just never materialized for them. They're a big loser for me. I don't understand what they did in this deadline. I would have just kept James Wiseman. I mean,
they had the pieces to get a OG Anunoby, a Pascal Siakam, if they a Fred VanVleet if they really wanted to. I don't get this. Like I understand you have a player like you have a Kevon Looney on the roster. You have a aging Draymond Green who might be on his way out.
I don't necessarily think that might be. I think he's for sure on his way out.
And so you have your future plans in tow. So we thought. Moody ain't going nowhere. Kuminga's not going anywhere. That as of right now, and and Wiseman was supposed to be the new.
Yeah, I mean those are supposed to be the 3 guys to take you into the next phase of Warriors basketball, and that just never materialized.
You hit it out the park now with Jordan Poole. We are not that far removed from people questioning the draft pick of Jordan Poole in the first
100%.
round.
Yep.
So Jordan Poole has so you had what was going to be a quartet of Poole, Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman. Like that would have been super solid. And then you got Steph. I think Steph is probably going to be the one to play the longest out of the big three they got now because of his shooting ability.
I agree with you.
But I don't know. Like this is definitely one of those. What's the plan? Like I understand the whole. Hey, we're gonna win. We're gonna win as much as we can right now because when this thing is over,
and I imagine they're just like, you know what? We don't think we can get anything out of James Wiseman, no matter what we do with him. We're just gonna get what we can for him. I just don't. I don't. It's a head scratching decision. I just don't understand. I don't really like it or understand it. The Warriors, for me, if I had a team that I thought was the biggest loser when it comes to the deadline, it's them.
Yeah, because when this thing is over, we gonna know it's over.
Yeah, I mean, Klay Thompson's, he's had a good season this year, but we'll see. My other loser, I think this is more or less minor, is the Denver Nuggets. Bones Highland, that Bones Highland trade is a real head scratcher, and we'll get to head scratching trades here in a second, but I just don't understand trading him away. Even if there are locker room issues with him, he is too talented to just be like, you know what? We're gonna get 2 second-round picks. We'll be okay. I think he's valuable to your, and you didn't replace him with anybody. Thomas Bryant is not going to replace the value that. And Thomas Bryant, by the way, he wanted to get traded away from the Lakers
because he wanted more playing time.
You think you're going to get more playing time in Denver? No, Jokic just playing 35 minutes a night.
Well, we'll see what happens. I think another personal, like you did with John Wall. Excuse me. I got to throw Reggie Jackson into that pick too, man. Like this was a dude who earned everything he just got. We thought he played himself into a massive contract, a massive payday, because he balled in the playoffs. He was absolutely phenomenal.
He's the reason that they basically were able to get to the Western Conference Finals that season.
He was absolutely phenomenal, and he really could have went elsewhere for more money, and he chose to stay in LA for the deal that they got that they offered him, that he signed for. I just want to know again, if you're the Clippers, what's the plan? Like, what's the plan? Do you plan on bringing John Wall in? Do you plan on being Westbrook? Do you plan on bringing him in?
I think they for sure. Him and Paul George are still pretty good friends. Paul George is one of the guys that helped Russell Westbrook through that tough time when he was in Houston. I actually think they're going to get him.
I legit thought they was going to move. Didn't they move Kennard? Didn't they move him?
Yeah, Luke Kennard was in that trade that brought. 1 second, I got it right here.
Was it Plumlee?
No. Yes. No. Plumlee. They got Plumlee for Reggie Jackson in this trade. Eric Gordon. Luke Kennard is the trade they got them. Eric Gordon, who I actually really like, who can score a little bit and defend.
Older. Well, yeah. Older.
Also, I also forgot to talk about when it comes to the Lakers and why I think they're a winner. Like, so we talk about this cap space that's just projected to have. This trade doesn't change any of that. Like, Malik Beasley's on a team option, D'Angelo Russell's a free agent, and Jared Vanderbilt's contract's only partially guaranteed. Like, they'll still have max cap space next summer. But yeah, losers. I got the Denver Nuggets, Warriors, John Wall, Raptors, Bulls, and then the Cavaliers as well. Any to add?
If I'm Cleveland, and you said it, like they did do a massive move over the summer, getting Donovan Mitchell. I just don't. I think it's another one of those situations where your quote unquote tradable assets aren't that tradable.
Yeah, I think Isaac Okoro, he hasn't really developed offensively at all.
Lamar Stevens, a bunch of, and like it's a bunch of nothing. No offense to those dudes, like it. That's what you got. So maybe
Osman. I mean,
right,
Cedi Osman, he's more valuable to the Cavs than he would be to a different team.
So maybe they tried to kick the tires on the OG Anunoby trade, or I'm really surprised Buddy Hield didn't get moved.
Me too. I mean, he's still under contract for a little bit, so they have the opportunity to move him this offseason. But yeah, Buddy Hield seems like a guy who's been in trade rumors forever, even though he did get traded last offseason. But like everybody thought he was going to get moved at some point before this trade line, and it just never materialized.
Right.
So from the loser, let's talk about the most shocking trade. TJ, most shocking trade in your opinion?
See, the trade that didn't make any sense to me.
No, shocking. This is the trade that when you when you saw it come over your news feed, you were like, "Wow, I can't believe that just happened."
Obviously, it's got to be the KD to Phoenix trade. That happened at 1:30 in the morning, bro.
Yeah, so I was joking with Izzy in the show we did on Thursday, and
right.
like so I go to bed at like midnight-ish, and like I wake up at like 6 in the morning. And like my phone was just getting like I had a billion, like I have a bunch of group chats. I had a billion messages in all my chats, and I'm like, what is going on? And yeah, I had to scroll back up, and I just seen all this conversation. I'm like, it took me forever to scroll all the way up to see what you guys were talking about. And I'm like, wow, I cannot believe that just like if I had to pick a trade that I thought was the most shocking, it's that one for me too. I'll let you go.
I'm at work. Right? Mind you, I work overnight. It's 12:30 in the morning here. The minute that trade goes down, I call my brother. My brother's halfway across the world in Bahrain. He's in another. It's like 9:30 in the morning over there. I call my brother to let him know that hey, Kevin Durant just got traded to the Suns. He's like, what? Yeah, Kevin Durant just got traded to Phoenix. He's like, wow. And I kind of did what
and TJ Warren. Let's not forget about TJ Warren.
And I did what literally every Bulls fan did over the next few days. I'm in that trade machine and I'm making mock trades because I'm like, hey, the East is right there. We really only got to worry about Philly, Boston, and Milwaukee. And no disrespect to Cleveland. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them at all. So I'm in there like, all right, we can make this move, this works. And I'm like, realistically, I'm like, we ain't doing nothing because none of that works. Like, it's just not happening. Yeah, KD to Phoenix in the dead heat of night after Joe Tsai literally said the plan is to build around Kevin Durant. And yeah, I will get to Kyrie Irving in probably another show. I've lost so much respect for that dude. It's not even funny.
Yeah, I think Kyrie Irving fans are having a hard time defending him right now. But
like as a humanitarian, he's phenomenal. As a professional being, he's no, I can't. Yeah. I can't do that.
For me, yeah, the most shocking trade was also that Kevin Durant trade. Let's talk about most head-scratching trade, the trade that you think made the least sense. And I'll go first. It's got to be this James Wiseman trade. Like this trade with like the 3-team trade
on both ends.
I mean, this trade is also super in jeopardy right now because of the Gary Payton, GP2, his injury. So I mean, this trade might end up being rescinded. But the Atlanta Hawks get Sadiq Bey, which actually really like his fit there in Atlanta. It gives them a defensive-minded wing that they don't really have right now on the roster. But James Wiseman, I mean, yeah, but you need more than just one of those guys.
I get that, but you're running into the same situation.
I mean, I guess, but Sadiq Bey is an expiring contract. You're basically just getting it for this one particular season to try to make a run at this. But just James Wiseman, like he's only worth. Basically, traded him for Gary Payton II. And if you wanted Gary Payton II, you could have just signed him.
You could have just re-signed him.
You could have just absolutely re-signed him. He probably would have came back, a team that he just wanted to chip on. But this trade is kind of in jeopardy now. That I'm not sure. Like the Warriors have until today to decide if they want to continue with it because of it was an abdominal injury that GP2 has. He failed his physical, and that's up to the Warriors. And like, how awkward would that be if he has to go back to Golden State?
So that was my question. First off, Gary Payton. First off, team doctors across all sports stop using Toradol. It does way more damage long term than short. Like obviously, the goal is to get the player back out there playing as fast as possible. You just shoot like he's been getting shot up with Toradol for the longest now, from what it sounds like. And like anything, too much of anything can eventually be bad for you. So the whole Toradol thing, we see it in the NFL all the time. How many times do we see a player that's battling a nagging injury get shot up with Toradol just so they can play that week?
Yeah,
That's a week. This is the NBA. You might play 4 games in the span of a week.
it's true. Yep. So, but yeah, that trade was probably the most head scratching trade for me.
Yeah, so that was my thing. So like, what do you do with the James Wiseman if he has to come back and you have to go back to him with your hat in the hand and your head down. Sorry, James. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. If I am Golden State and I have to, I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna take like if Gary Payton the second, whatever. Just as long as we'll get the second round pick still. Like this is the trade. We're gonna keep it. Like we're just gonna roll with it. Like because they could just be like, you know what, we'll ignore the physical. We'll go through the trade anyways. I think that's what they're gonna end up doing. Another trade that I think is super head scratching is this Jakob Poeltl to the Raptors. Why did the Raptors feel the need to trade for him, and why are they giving up? I know it's like lottery protected 2024 first round pick, and then it turns into like 5 second round picks, which whatever. But why Raptors? Jakob Poeltl is not going to doesn't move the needle for you as a team. Like you're a little bit better than you were the day before, but not by much.
Yeah. Again, I wanted whatever pack that Greg Pop was smoking when they thought they could get 2 firsts for Jakob Poeltl. And I'm like, I ain't got nobody to blame but Minnesota and Rudy Gobert.
Timberwolves, man, they strike again. But yeah, those 2 trades just made literally no sense for me when they went down in the can there. But yeah, let us know who you had as your big winners of the NBA trade deadline. Who are your big losers? Most shocking trade and most head scratching trade. And we usually wrap up the show with GOAT Talk, but I don't actually have that.
I ain't have one either.
Okay, I don't have that graphic in this particular package. So no big deal.
So you owe two GOAT Talks, by the way. That's like you owe 2.
I will do the next 2. Okay,
the next 2 is on you.
But yeah, we're gonna play some Jakob Poeltl. Speaking of Poeltl, we're gonna play some Jakob Poeltl, dude. You ready?
Why not? Go ahead.
I love this game, dude. I'm telling you, the one yesterday was pretty fun. So let's get into it. Here's the silhouette of the NBA player.
That's Buddy Hield.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not.
Oh,
not even close, DJ. Not even close. He
guard.
He's not a guard. He's
not a guard.
He's nearly a guard. So this is like a guard forward. So somebody who plays guard forward in the West, who's younger than 30. His number is less than 24. He's taller than 6'4".
Taller than 6'4". Okay.
I don't think it's this guy. Actually, no. I'm gonna do this. Okay, so he's in the West. He's taller than 6'6", only by a little bit. So he's probably like 6'7", 6'8". He's older than 24, but he's either like 25 or 26. He doesn't play in the Northwest.
But he is in the West. Let me see the silhouette again. See, the reason I thought it was Buddy Hield is because of like
braids.
The little braids. But he's in the West. No, it's not Terrence Mann.
I mean, it could be. We might as well guess it. I mean, okay, so he's a Clipper. He's in the West. Plays in the Pacific. He's a guard forward. So he's 6'6". He's 6'7". He's 25, and his number is between 2 and 14. So who's 25? Plays on the Clippers.
Hold on.
Man. I can't. Who's on their team even right now? A 25-year-old. Is it Norman Powell?
No, Norman Powell don't have braids.
He's also number like.
I'm really surprised if that's not Trey Man.
It's not, but he is a Clipper.
But he is a Clipper. So my question with games like this, do the trade deadline affect that?
Yeah, I just did one yesterday. It was Jordan Nwora, and he was on the Indiana Pacers.
Uh,
So they regularly update this.
Amir Coffee. He don't even play.
It is Amir Coffee. How did you know that? Did you look it up?
I did. I cheated.
Oh, you looked it up. Come on, man. Yeah, it's everybody on the roster. It's not just their starters. Amir Coffee.
No. I get that. But what I was saying, like, I was asking, like, how often, like, does it get updated?
I think they update it every day, dude.
Because trade deadline and all that other good stuff.
I did one yesterday, and it was Jordan Nwora, and they already had him updated on his new team. So,
interesting.
Dude, this game is fun. You can play it every day. So, if you like
NBA, the only thing I don't like about it is the one guest a day thing. I would be wanting to do this like multiple times a day.
TJ,
that's my thing.
Let me break it down to you. If I was able to do this more than once a day, this is literally all I would do. Like
that's you.
my productivity at work is very happy that this is only once a day. Like it's exactly like that Wordle. Let's go to Larry Birtle. You can play this unlimited if you want to. I love this game too. I play a lot. When I'm need to blow off some steam, I'll like pull this up and I'll play like one round.
Okay, I just need you to zoom in just a little bit. The board's a bit blurry. A little bit more. There. All right, that's better.
Okay, let's roll. Mirotic on the Bulls.
Yeah, Fox. Is that Fox?
Yeah, Sacramento.
Gasol was a Bull. Unless that's Pat. Oh, okay.
I mean, it could be, but Gasol didn't play on any of these other teams. He was never a Hornet. He was never a Pelican. He was never a Pacer. He was never a Buck. Mark or Powell.
Is that Hurt? Is that Herder? Kevin Herder, right? The H.
Yep.
So okay. George Hill. Is that George Hill?
Yeah. So George Hill is on. He could be here actually. Beyond Mahimi was on that Pacer team.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton. Sabonis.
Yeah. Who's that? Right there.
This is Antetokounmpo.
No, that one. Who's that?
This is Lonzo Ball.
Okay.
And then Brandon Ingram, Brook Lopez. All right, so now we have to do one up and down. So
I see Rose, Mirotic, McDermott, Gasol.
So this could be Grayson Allen, but I don't. George Hill, but I don't know who the Bulls player that played with any of these other guys. So McDermott maybe.
Did George Hill play for the Kings at one point?
I don't think so. Redick, Holiday. This could be Drew Holiday. So it could be I don't know. I don't know who we only have 13 more moves, by the way. None of these guys played on.
George Hill did play for the Kings.
Okay, so Holiday, Hill, no.
Hill and
Malcolm Brogdon played for the Pacers. I mean, Pacers, Brogdon, Dermott, and then Sabonis. All right, we win. We can do one more, and then we'll call it a show. All right, TJ, here we go. I'll let you you guide.
Zoom in one more time. One more. All right, so I see Randall, Jackson, Holiday, Davis. Jackson. Which Jackson? Like Frank Jackson?
It could be
Uh, Cun-
either.
Cunningham, Harris, Ibaka, Bradley. So Ibaka to the Thunder
Where? Which one? Doesn't matter.
for no, it don't matter. For Zingis to the Knicks for for Jackson. Because it could be Reggie Jackson. Did that light up? No, it did. It's not.
It's not.
Caldwell Pope, Lakers.
Or it could be a Piston.
It could be a Piston too. Damn, I forgot about that. So I know Randall, Cools, and Ingram are like that one column with the Lakers and Pelicans, like that should be
Well,
like
so you have to move the Lakers out of here. So Lakers.
all right. So moves Lakers. Moves Lakers to the middle
Here.
where Hill is. Yeah. How many moves I got? What we got?
21.
21. Ingram. So why is Ingram not lighting up? You play for the Lakers.
Because it might be
it might be a different Ingram.
No, it just might not be that part of the puzzle. Like because there's
I
also
gotcha.
the Pelicans here. I mean,
Who's that next to Noah to the left?
no. This is Kevin Durant.
Well, we already know he played for the Thunder.
You want to move him there?
Yes.
Okay.
What the hell? Oh. Westbrook. Switch Westbrook. Yeah, okay. Mello? Is that Carmelo?
Could
I
be.
see Anthony.
Yep.
Yeah, flip him and Kuz.
Kuzma?
Yes. So I got the up and down one first. That's crazy.
Well, second. Second.
But second.
All right. Now what are you doing?
Let's see. Randall Porzingis. Who's that? Is that Holiday?
It is Holiday, so it could be Drew, Justin, or whatever the brother's name is. Yeah, Aaron.
I know it's not Aaron.
I mean, this could be Drew Holiday, and you could put him with the Pelicans.
Right.
But I don't know if Bradley played for the Pelicans.
Avery Bradley?
And this could be broken up. Like
flip it?
This might end up being one that goes across.
Because Avery Bradley.
Because he never played on the Pelicans. And I don't know where else you could put them.
No, he didn't.
And Anthony never played for any team on here but the Knicks. Oh, he did play for the Thunder.
He played for the Thunder.
But not during this era of Thunder basketball.
Does that really matter though? Like, even though he didn't.
This is all played on one team at the same. This is all a starting lineup of a particular era of. So, like, this is all people that started on that whatever team it was on the Thunder. But let's. I think Joakim Noah has to go here. Carmelo Anthony has to come up here.
Right.
And then I think this is probably David Lee. I don't know if David Lee ever played on the. He didn't.
David Lee played for the Knicks.
I know, but not this era Knicks.
Try. You never know.
I think he was already gone by then. Oh shit. Okay. I mean, this must be Courtney Lee.
It's one of the two.
Okay, and so now this Bradley has to be traded with Davis. So Anthony Davis, Cunningham. Is it Dante Cunningham?
One of them.
And this is Jordan Hill probably to come with Holiday. All right, so now down here, Detroit. So this is Tobias Harris, more than likely, and this is Reggie Jackson. So we just flip these.
All right.
I clearly play this too much. But yeah, that's been our NBA trade deadline special. Let us know down in the comment section what you thought about the winners and losers. Also, let us know if you play Pirtle or Larry Birtle. Let us know down in the comment section about that. TJ, tell everybody. We need to let people to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you want to check us out, if you do happen to miss us live, where can they catch us at? If you know,
YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, all of it.
Amazon Music too.
Amazon Music.
I shared the link in the chat. And TJ, what we do? Hit the prime, my friend.
We bring the heat.
Yes, sir, man. It is beautiful outside here in Fort Wayne, man. After what was not the greatest weather the last couple of days, but today is beautiful.
It was a tough week. It was a tough couple weeks.
Man, there has been so much crazy news happening in Fort Wayne this week. This has felt like the longest week ever, and I've needed the week off. So I will see you later, man. Have a good rest of your night, man. I will talk to you later, I'm sure.
I'll see you, man.
Peace out, brother.